Part 2. Azure Moon. Blue Sea Moon. The Impregnable Fortress. When Claude steps down as its leader, the Leicester Alliance disbands, and its lords swear fealty to the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. The chaos in the kingdom begins to dissipate as the people unite under Dimitri's rule. Riding this momentum, the Kingdom Army prepares to march south for a decisive battle against Imperial forces.
We will finally have our decisive battle with the Empire this month.
The Eastern Lords are in the process of consolidating all of the troops within the entire...
An impregnable fortress?
Fort Mercius, I know of it. They say it rivals even Aryan Road.
Count Burgleys, the Empire's Minister of Military Affairs, once had troops stationed there. But according to our spies, a large-scale military force has entered the stronghold. Perhaps they are gathering soldiers from various regions to compensate for their losses.
Should we try to avoid it? Can we really prevail? Can we really prevail?
It is unlike you to worry so. But I feel we have no choice but to strip that place of its impregnable reputation. Once we take Fort Mercius, Enbar will be within reach. This is the Empire's last chance to stop us from arriving at our goal.
In other words, if we take this fort, then our blades will be at the Emperor's throat in no time.
If this is the last fort between us and them, then the Emperor will likely do everything she can to strengthen its defenses.
I just received a report on that very subject. The one commanding the troops stationed at Fort Mercius is someone we have crossed blades with many times.
Hubert.
It is the Death Knight who
Oh,
awaits us
Death
there.
Knight. Wow, just 3. Yeah, I can explore right now and then huh.
Professor?
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report.
Is it true that we'll be assaulting Fort Mercius next? That doesn't sound like the brightest idea. I've heard that it's built to withstand an attack from even the largest of armies. And not to tell you how to do your job, but don't do it. I'm not ready to say my final goodbyes to everyone.
No, don't worry, Gatekeeper Kun. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Professor? You know, Professor, laying siege to a keep is like asking a girl out on a date. First you get past her defenses,
Oh
then you
my
make her move.
god. That's not the best analogy. You might
See,
be right.
you get it. Our fearless leader, on the other hand, he's never been good with the ladies. Anyway, I figure you go after the main gate. You take that out, and I'm sure we can win. Of course, you're making the tactical calls. I'm happier to follow than to lead.
True. The Death Knight is guarding Fort Mercius. The same one who was linked to Monica and to Flame's abduction 5 years ago. Anyway, he's one of the monsters responsible for Captain Gerald's death. We have to defeat him.
Don't worry, Leone, we will. Last time was a pretty close call. I just got lucky.
Definitely. I traveled to Kingdom Territory because I was nearby. I did some good business. Apparently, supplies are needed to reconstruct the Kingdom capital and the surrounding towns. I wonder where I should go next.
I've come here after getting chased out of the Empire. There's no place for our kind there anymore. But there are still many inside Empire territory who haven't abandoned their faith in the Church of Seros. I pray that one day we'll get the chance to rebuild the church within the Empire.
Hey!
Okay.
Doesn't matter how sturdy the keep. If the commander defending it is incompetent, it can fall as easy as anything. That's what they say, at least. I wonder if that applies to Fort Mercius. All I know is, if I was the Emperor, I'd never in a million years assign an incompetent commander to a fort as important as that one.
I'm pretty sure Hubert might be
The
there.
Archbishop has been taken to the Empire, just as we thought. But why hasn't Edelgard killed her yet? If she intended to use her as a hostage, she'd have publicly announced that she was unharmed. We don't know what the Emperor's intentions are. All we can do is fight on and pray the Archbishop is okay.
Right.
Right.
Oh, Mercedes.
Death Knight. Going to fight the Death Knight.
You seem concerned.
To be perfectly honest, I am.
I mean, I already know. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who the Death Knight is at this point, but I'm not gonna tell you guys who his real identity is. I mean, spoilers are already out, I already know.
Now that the alliance has been dissolved, what will become of the nobility?
Are you worried?
No, my adoptive father knows how to get by. I'm sure he'll do well for himself in the kingdom. All of Fodlan is going to change. I suppose I'll have to change with it.
Should I increase my face skill right now? I mean, I already have... I mean, I can bring it up to A already.
Hey, you!
Something about Lord Arundel rubbed me the wrong way. There was something off about him. Not that I've ever heard anything good about him. Have you ever heard of the Harim family?
From the Empire?
Correct. Their lands are due south of the Ordelia territory. Since Edelgard's rule, Lord Arundel had been governing the territory. It seems like his reign was particularly cruel. The people there suffered greatly under him. He seemed to be a good and just person at one point. It simply doesn't make sense.
Considered attacking an impregnable fortress head-on is rather impressive. Or suicidal. Depends on the day, really. You know Fort Mercius's nickname, I assume. The stubborn old general? It may be stubborn, but its age means it's gotta be hiding a few weak spots. Makes sense to aim for those areas.
We're finally going to attack the Empire? I'm actually getting a little nervous. Please defeat the Emperor and save Lady Rhea. I'll be waiting here with all of the necessary preparations for a huge celebration.
I hope there will be a celebration. Is there an event today? I don't have any bait.
Is it true Lady Rhea was taken to the Empire? Why'd they take Lady Rhea? Professor, they didn't take her to kill her, did they?
It's probably the same answer. I don't think so.
Good. We just gotta beat the Imperial Army and get her back, right? You gotta help her, Professor. I'm begging you.
Thinking, have you heard of the Crescent Moon War? That's when the Alliance won their independence from the kingdom. Some 300 years ago, the ruling Duke of Leicester died without an heir, and the lords with blood ties to House Blythen took that chance to propose ruling the Leicester territory as a republic. The head of House Regan led the Leicester lords and fought fiercely with Farkas. They won independence from the kingdom. And now, here we are.
Oh my.
The Alliance has really been disbanded? I never thought such a thing could happen. As long as it doesn't negatively impact our lives, I don't care much whether we're the Kingdom or the Alliance.
With the Empire destroyed, the borders within Fodlan will likely become a thing of the past. With that, the rules of trade will change. Personally, I'm excited to see what these changes will bring.
Weren't the Kingdom and Alliance once part of the same country? If you think about it that way, it makes sense for them to unite. I suppose the Kingdom was once part of the Empire as well. Even if Fodlan came together, I wouldn't be surprised if it fell apart again.
my family made it through the conflict unscathed. Thank the goddess. It seems that Deirdre was the only place to really get caught up in the fighting. Did Claude intend to spare the Alliance territories from harm? If so, he's a truly admirable leader. Speaking of Claude, I wonder where he is.
I'm pretty sure he's just riding around on his boat somewhere. I think he might be going to Almyra.
Oh, Professor! Good timing. You have to talk some sense into my father. Recently, he's been doing nothing but work himself to the bone. Even when he's taking breaks from training and errands, he's apparently listening to reports, day in and day out. He's getting on in years, you know? I just want him to take care of himself.
I wonder where Claude will go. From the sound of it, he's leaving Fodlan altogether. He was strangely gallant about the whole thing. Even left his relic behind. Elusive and mysterious to the end, isn't he?
He sure is.
Just as we suspected, Lady Rhea was taken to the Imperial capital. We must get to the capital as quickly as possible. So many people are worried sick about her. I do wonder when Claude managed to learn Lady Rhea's whereabouts. He's pretty shrewd. I can't help but admire him.
We defeated Lord Arundel. The Emperor must have been surprised. If we can keep up that fervor, perhaps we'll capture Fort Mercius and move on to the Imperial capital. We must not be overconfident, though.
Let's proceed with caution.
Yes, I concur. Humans and beasts are ultimately the same. When they're cornered, they lash out however they can. They fight for their lives. Who knows how the Emperor will lash out? We have to be careful.
Sword and brawling. Okay, not too bad.
We took quite the detour. It was time-consuming, but finally, we got the information we needed. We crush the Empire, we get Lady Rhea back. 2 birds, 1 stone. First, we take Fort Mercius. I'll put my heart in it. I'll crack him like a rusty helmet.
Alright, I'm gonna off-screen the rest of this, so I'll see you guys then. Bye.
Incredible. The Leicester Alliance is no more. 300 years of history, gone and done. They write operas about events like this, you know? Dimitri will be played by the most handsome actor of the time. Hearts will pound as he takes the stage. What am I saying? Surely the most handsome man would play you.
Fort Mercius is the Empire's single most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say. I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Mercius? Indeed, A very good answer. But of course, you'd know that. Seems Fodlans give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as well as a title, I suppose.
Each step closer to Enbar, I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works, though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
Fort Mercius is a keep that was constructed to defend the imperial capital, Enbar. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy. Now that we know Rhea is there, we must move with the utmost urgency.
The Death Knight. I shudder to think of him. Professor, you remember my connection to him, do you not? I am still working through the trauma from back then. All these years later. If we meet him, I swear I will have my revenge.
Professor!
So, we're finally invading Empire territory, huh? There's not much we can do right now, except pray for deliverance. I truly believe that we have it in us to succeed.
Even in the kingdom, only a few people knew about His Highness and Edelgard's relationship. Me? I always knew those two to be like brother and sister. To think that we would come to see this world, where they are at war with one another. I live it, and can still barely imagine such a truth.
Professor!
Well...
Professor.
Claude has stepped down from leadership, and Leicester is now a vassal state of Fargus. The lords of the Western Kingdom are beginning to declare fealty to us in greater numbers also. The Empire is our only remaining enemy.
Professor. From this point onward, we're in all-out war with the Empire. Are you prepared, Professor? I'm glad to hear it. That means we can approach the coming battles with peace of mind. First, we capture Fort Mercius. The fighting will undoubtedly be brutal, but we must prevail. As far as this army and I are concerned, you're our last ray of hope. We are relying on you. Flame? What is the matter? Is something weighing on your mind again? It is freezing out here. You should be bundled up in your warm bed.
Listen, Dimitri. The truth is, I am afraid of sleeping.
Afraid of it? Why?
I am afraid that when I close my eyes, I shall fall into a very deep sleep. One from which I cannot wake up. For years upon years. Then, when I finally awaken, everyone I know and love will be long gone. Vanished with the sands of time. I am sure it seems silly. But try as I might, I cannot shake this fear.
I cannot quite grasp what you are describing. But I can promise you one thing. No matter how many years go by, I will always remember you.
I appreciate the sentiment. Even so, one day...
Listen carefully, Flane. There is something I have been wanting to tell you.
Oh? What is that?
You know that dish you made the other day? It was so sweet, it made my tongue go numb.
I am not so sure that is a good thing.
Well, I could only really taste the first bite, so I may have been imagining it. But still, I was so happy. That moment will always put a smile on my face whenever I remember it. I could never forget you, Flane. I promise. Besides, we have fought side by side. We are friends. I am sure all of the others would say the same. Is something the matter?
You really do not pick up on subtle cues, do you?
Cues?
Well, it is all a part of your charm, I suppose. With you here, I finally feel I can sleep without having to worry at all.
Hey, wait! I did not mean for you to fall asleep right here.
Someday you appreciate food.
Flane... she is hopeless.
Felix!
You, what is it now?
Do not fret. I have not come to ask you to chop wood. I have other things to speak of with you. You said that for one to live, they must also be prepared to kill.
This again. Yes, that's what I said. You still have a problem with that?
No, I do not have a problem with it at all. I simply want you to live too.
Oh, okay. Then I'll get back to my training.
Excuse me, I am not finished yet. During this time of war, you must wield your sword to ensure your own life. If that is the case, then it follows that we should bring an end to this war.
To end the war, you'd have to kill more people.
Perhaps that is true. But once all is said and done, there would no longer be a need to kill, only to live. Is that not so?
That's pure fantasy. But if it came to pass, there would be no place for me. What would I do? I was raised to swing a sword. It's all I know. In a world without strife, warriors like me would be lost souls. It's tragic in a way. We fight to bring peace, and then, if we achieve it, we lose our purpose.
I do not think that is anything you should worry yourself over. If the war ends and peace reigns, I shall be sure to have plenty of wood chopping for you to do.
What a generous offer.
And you will never be short on fruits and vegetables to chop for me either. If you felt like you lost your purpose in life, surely you would find a new purpose. It is not like you to be afraid of losing something after all.
I never thought about it, but maybe there is a path for me in peacetime. I'm intrigued. I might even like to realize this fantasy of yours.
Oh, that brings me such joy, Felix. Together we can make this a reality. I can see it now. A life where you slice vegetables rather than people. I will greatly enjoy the day when we inhabit a world like that.
Alright, let's see here. Hmm.